Hello, everybody. Welcome to Queer Games Heck Yeah for today. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a good day. Let's get right into it. Let's get into a game without a massive preamble. Today we're going to be playing The Grey Wolf and the Little Lamb. Personally, I think they missed an opportunity there with the title for The Grey Wolf and the Little Lamb. But that's just me. I'm happy to be wrong. I have decided to color coordinate my t-shirt today with the game's title screen. So, we're off to a great start. Okay. I know nothing about these games, other than they're queer little indie games, and therefore awesome, but they may not be to your liking, so, if you don't like surprises, look away. I'm playing them as part of the Queer Games bundle, which is on right now. Well worth your time and money, and your effort goes into supporting artists around the world. Let's get going. Once Upon a Time. Oh wow, cool art. That is like a sticker art, that's like a t-shirt art. I would have that on my laptop casing, I reckon. Awesome. And I love that the developer gave it a little moment. Often with great art, the text box comes up immediately, but the person who made this, the people that made this, they knew right away that they had to give that piece of art its own little moment. So thumbs up from me. Once upon a time there lived the grey wolf. She was ever so hungry and ever so cruel. No other animal in the forest could tolerate her, as she made sure to offend each and every one of them. The grey wolf destroyed the houses of the three little pigs. The grey wolf almost ate the 7 goatlings. The grey wolf wasn't just pathetic, lonesome and distant, she was strong and cruel. The ever-hungry grey wolf ate the sun once, and all the animals in the forest had to unite to win against her. Oh wow, another great art. I mean, it's the color palette, it's this sort of rough-hewn style, but also there's quite a bit of like liveliness to it. That perspective is awesome. Oh, there's a lot to like about this game. There also lived the little lamb. The little lamb was kind, clever, and hard-working. I hate them already. The little lamb had heard rumors of the wolf's faults and crimes, but wouldn't believe them without first-hand experience. She knew that rumors in a hostile environment are factors that would only make matters worse and turn a few false criminals into real ones. When the grey wolf was once again homeless and hungry, the little lamb offered her help. Oh, drawing hands is so hard. How have they done it? So elegant, too. The grey wolf never asked for sympathy, nor did she expect anyone's pity. How naive and stupid... Oh, oops, I went a bit fast on that one. Let's go back on that. How naive and stupid could one be to offer to help? But why? She can't be that kind and honest, the wolf thought. Surely she must have an ulterior motive. Okay, so one thing I'm trying to do with queer games, heck yeah, is my theory is that people making queer games have like a... They're not just here to make a game, they're here to make a bit of a statement, they're here to kind of get a message across, like artistically, and not necessarily like a heavy-handed message, and it may not even be political. It can just be like a thing that they love, they want to translate into a game and share with the world. It's a very beautiful act, actually. So I actually thank all the developers. But actually, I don't really thank the developers enough for just making these awesome games. But yeah, I'm so glad you do take the time to put into bytes the thing that's burning inside you and sharing with us. So with this game, I'm already a bit like, I'm kind of already getting a little bit of a vibe that they want to have this thing about like, sure, we're not fond of the crime, but let's try and look beyond that and see maybe what's the cause of the crime. I think that is that an ulterior motive then? If you want to help someone because you think by helping them you'll actually, figure them out. No, no, no. I think ulterior implies a certain kind of like, what do you call it? That the person you're applying the ulterior motive to will come out of it worse. Okay, but I don't think that's the case. She's probably only doing it to make herself feel superior. Oh, yeah, Although maybe this game is not about looking at, like, trying to understand the criminal. Maybe it's about trying to understand the do-gooders and why they can sometimes do more harm than good. This is very interesting. Already, this game has got the brain blood pumping. Look at this goody two-shoes. Look at this pathetic narcissist. She just has to be better than everyone else. And isn't the poor, misunderstood, and pitiful wolf just like the perfect subject to look best next to? Well, sure, I'll accept your help. Just to shove it back in your face. This is awesome. This is such great writing. You think I'll be grateful? Well, think again. Maybe you already knew I wouldn't be thanking you. You're a smart heck after... No, wait, we can say ass. You're a smart ass after all. And there is no way I'll let that little lamb outsmart me. Wow. This is like, already we're several layers deep into like the psychology of these two characters. And the wolf was partly right. The lamb did have a motive. Although she genuinely wanted to help the wolf become a decent person, she also saw this as something of a game. This was a challenge for her. Does she have what it takes to educate the worst of them all? The one who everyone sees as hopeless? The one who everyone deems worthless? But the lamb could justify herself, since this would help the wolf in some way. After all, she couldn't be any worse a person than she already was. Does it matter what lamb's motivation is? I mean, I do think there is a danger of like overthinking helping people sometimes. Like, yes, I always think about it like the council buildings in the city, built in like the 60s and 70s, very tall, kind of not particularly pleasant to look at, not really well serviced by services really, and then often have like drug problems and that, because basically you've put a lot of people with addiction problems into the one building. It didn't always work out, and so people are like, well, it was a big mistake to build those buildings. But part of me still to this day is like, I think giving people a home is better than them not having a home. And yes, like version 1 wasn't perfect, but then you just kind of keep iterating and eventually you'll get there. I don't know. Yes, no, it can be complicated. But that's, I think, one of the benefits of living in like a modern civilization. We've got thousands and thousands of years of wisdom and experience behind us, that we actually can thread a very thin needle through some very, very thin needle holes, needle holes, needle eyes, yeah, needle eyes. And so yeah, I think we can blunder in and just kind of go, well, what about this, what about that? But also it's like, I think we can be very, very sophisticated with our like helping people responses these days. So you always have to have those I don't know where I'm going with this. This game has just got me really thinking just generally about the nature of charity and the nature of helping people, especially people who don't want to be helped, especially people who are hurt, loving it. This would be good for her as well, a win-win situation all in all. And so their story began. But then there's that thing, it's like, you can't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. Took me years to learn that one, figure that one out. Oh, they're so cute together. So wait, they're not actually a wolf and a little lamb. They're actually two people. Okay. I'm gonna be honest. It's very rare for a queer visual novel to pull back on the furriness. What a twist! What great art! Oh, the lamb? The wolf. Oh wait. Do we have to pick who we are? The wolf. Living with the lamb was fun. This is genius. I mean, we've only got half an hour with the game. Hopefully this game is like 5 minutes long so we can play the other half, but amazing. Actual backgrounds, not just photos that have been put through a filter. Ah, oh, tick, 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 tick. Living with the lamb was fine. The lamb lived in a remote house in the mountains. She went to town to do her job every day. The wolf didn't really grasp what the job was, but it involved a lot of paperwork which the lamb occasionally brought home. The lamb never lectured or preached. The lamb never asked for anything. The lamb never forced the wolf to do any chores. The lamb made sure the wolf was never hungry. The lamb gave the wolf new and clean clothes. Basically, the wolf could live as carefree as she wished. It was the most comfortable life the wolf had ever lived. It was alright. Amen to that. Ooh, ooh. Well, I don't really... Oh, it was boring. Oh. Eyeballs? Well, look at... This is some mess you left. The lamb hasn't found the time to clean it up yet. The kitchen. You eat everything, anything you want to, whenever you want to, and the lamb doesn't mind. You just leave the dishes wherever, and the lamb just silently cleans them. Isn't that creepy? It is, isn't it? Nobody in their right minds could stand this. You bet you'll get tired of it eventually. Everyone has their limit. I always say you never want to be the cleanest person in a house. You don't want to be the filthiest, but you don't want to be the cleanest. So basically I'm saying live in a share house with like 8 people. No, that's even worse. The stairs lead up to the 2nd floor. Up there was only Lamb's study and the attic. The lamb offered you to stay in her study if you wanted, but it was full of books, and you feel pressured surrounded by books. Interesting. Besides, the 1st floor is fine. Or ground floor, as we say in the Commonwealth countries, thank you. You can sleep next to the fireplace there, and you feel better when you can see the house exit. Very wolf, that's very wolf of us. And when you can hear the lamb coming downstairs and going out. Basically, you feel safer when you're familiar with your surroundings. What a surprise. Let's talk to the lamb. Or as I like to say, our Mark. This is the lamb. She hasn't left yet. The little lamb. She's gorgeous. Look at those eyelashes. Oh. Look at those little, what do you call it? Sleeve things. Gorgeous. Good morning, lamb. She isn't invasive, and you don't have anything to say really. You just want to bug her. Do you need something, perhaps? You suppose that awkward silence did the trick, but quiet staring bugs you just as much, so you're relieved when the lamb gave up first. It feels gross to be grateful. But anyway, I don't like this dress. What a shame. It suits you very well. It's cute, isn't it? It is cute. You look so good together with your little ears. Oh. But you aren't the cute type. Has she even seen your usual clothes? I don't do cute. I see. Well, I patched your old clothes, but they are currently in the laundry. Perhaps you would like to wash them yourself? No. Was that a trick question? What answer was she even expecting? Little lamb. In that case, I'm sorry to inform you that you'll have to wait. Sorry to inform my ass. Who even speaks like that? Are you a legal document? And unfortunately, I don't think I can lend you any other dresses. Mine are way too long for you. Because of my glorious, lusciously long legs. Like a walkway model. Okay. Is there anything else? Have a nice day. Gorgeous. Well, I guess that's the exit for us. Leave the house. This is the lamb's small vegetable garden. You have never actually witnessed her doing anything here, but it seems to be growing fine. Eat the carrots. Eat the carrots, quiz boy. Quiz girl in this case. You don't really like them, but you might as well help yourself. Ha 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 ha. The magic of carrots is gone. You destroyed it. The hatch leads to the basement. The lamb keeps even more food in there. You originally intended to eat it all, but you kind of got sick of it after several jars. You don't even like pickled vegetables. And the lamb still didn't get angry or upset. She simply replaced them with new jars. Well, let's keep going. I don't feel like going anywhere today. I don't want to bump into anyone. They're all miserable. They all try to be nice and start a conversation, even though they don't want to talk to me. Pathetic. Alright, back indoors we go. Into the house. The lamb has left, again. Probably went to her job. Her high-paying job as a software engineer for a large fintech company. Typical lamb. What can we... You've got nothing to do, really. It's very boring. You used to be bad in order to survive. Energy wasn't something to spare. You only rested when you could afford to. You never thought or realized that you were lazy because the rare moments of peace and quiet you got were too valuable. You were the one causing all the trouble around you, but you didn't order to get a meal every day and sleep relatively safely each night. One can say that troublemaking was your job, and now that your life is easy as it can be, maybe you can make something of yourself. Become someone? Attempt chores. No, we're lazing around. Chores aren't really your thing. You've made for greatness. You're strong. You just need an opportunity. You're sure something worthwhile will come up eventually. You spend another day just lazing around the house. It's amazing how dedicated a person can be in being unproductive. My pet theory is that we live in an age of like pressure to be productive. Like even your hobbies have to be productive, and it's like, oh, you can't just sit around relaxing. You actually have to have a side hustle or something. And so I'm not quite sure what the vibe of this game is, because it's almost like this is the wolf's negative voice in her head telling her that it's almost like, so I think the game theory is that the wolf is got a lot of issues, including like a negative voice in their head. And now the negative voice is telling them they should be more productive because it's running out of things to say. But then also I actually disagree with the negative voice, but that's why it's a negative voice. Genius. The grey wolf never cared enough to be deliberately spiteful, yet in the end, you also didn't care enough for the lamb's well-being. You didn't listen to anything, and you didn't do anything. You were as lazy, worthless, ignorant, and unpleasant as one could naturally be, without putting in too much effort, of course. Is this really the life you want, with no goals or direction, with nothing to strive towards? Is this even a life? No, that's not the issue. It's not like you can't be useful. You don't want to. You don't see the point. Right here, right now, you're making a statement. You want to prove to the lamb that this naivety and kindness is either fake or useless. Wow, this game is really going in hard, and I love it. If you aren't the one to break the lamb's heart, something else will, and it will only hurt more then. Okay. Okay, so I think we got an ending, and because we picked like the meanest path, I think we got a very mean ending. But like mean in like an interest. I don't mean mean as in like mean. I just mean mean as in like there's some like harsh truths at the end of that. This game is very insightful. Okay, we've only got half an hour for each game on Queer Games. Heck yeah! But I think we've still got some time, so let's go again. Living with the wolf was awful. You offered her everything she needed. You provided her with new clothes, food, and shelter, but the wolf was ungrateful. The wolf wasn't used to living in the house. She brought in dirt and leaves all over the place. The wolf smelled bad and never washed. The wolf ate a lot and left dishes and leftovers everywhere. The wolf was never open for conversation, but you were patient. You've read that people need approximately half a year of comfortable and lazy life until they become bored of it and start searching for goals and purposes. You understand that the wolf used to live a very hard life. You just need to wait. It'll be worth it. Yeah, see, I mean, brilliant. I really feel like this is capturing, like, in a really fairy tale abstract way, just a big component of, like, life, really, existence. I've never seen this in a game before, this kind of conversation, this kind of dual sort of problems defined as much by the negative space as by the shape of them. I'm loving it. Oh, exit. Wait a minute. Oh, this is upstairs. This is the upstairs part. These are your books. You study a lot of things. You find medicine and psychology interesting. You're also quite versed in law, history, economics, and astronomy. You enjoy... I think I'm more wolf than lamb. You enjoy learning new things. No, I'm more penguin. I'm more penguin than wolf or lamb. That's what I am. These are your books. You study a lot of things. You find medicine and... Wait, we've already read that. Yes. Oh, you enjoy reading fiction as well. Oh, little herbs. These are dried bundles of cooking herbs. This is your first aid kit. Above it, you dry herbs, though they aren't for remedies, but for cooking. Okay. Ladder, plants, chair, quill. The book on the table is entitled Interpretations of Dreams. And it's just one page after page of someone screaming. Oh, book. The book on the bed is titled Princess Ugly Duckling. How spectacular. Because it's just, I think with character art, what elevates good character art from like amazing character art is a sense of like freedom and personality in the actual poses and lines themselves. So not only is this character's design exemplary, but the actual uh, poses just say everything, don't they? Oh, gorgeous art. This is the kitchen. You used to keep a lot of food in here. You believe that it's nice to have necessities ready in advance, for you enjoy rationing. You enjoy doing most things in advance, actually. However, the wolf managed to clear most of your supplies here, and in the basement as well. You try to replenish them regularly, but now it is quite a challenge in itself. But this is quite a challenge in itself. It seems that the wolf has no limit to how much he can consume. This also includes you regularly having to cook fresh meals for the both of you, and you calculated her portion to be twice or thrice as big. But no matter how much you cook, she still just ate everything, and then some preserved supplies on top of that. She seems to have stopped recently, and you are unsure as to why, but it's very unlikely that she was finally full. Yeah, well, omnivores and carnivores, we have to consume a lot more protein than you herbivores, okay? Because our brains are a lot more wrinkly, little Miss Lamb. I mean, you can get the protein from like a vegetarian diet, for sure, quite easily, but maybe not in the middle of the, fairy tale forest. There's some mess. This is some mess the wolf left. You didn't have time to put it away yourself yet, and right now you should be going to work. You hope that the wolf knows that you just didn't leave leftovers and dirt and everything else just lying around the house, the space you live in. Surely she must know that people are supposed to clean up after themselves. Not everybody knows that. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. I feel like this game is... Maybe I'm reading a lot into it, but I feel like this game is a bit more about, like... social services as much as it's about the wolf and the lamb, and I think there's just an element of like people have to learn, but then also teaching people, there's a little bit of like, who are you to come along and tell someone to change the way they're living? And I don't know, like maybe I've read the whole social services thing into it, but I'm loving it anyway. She must understand why people prefer and need the houses to be tidy. You never express your displeasure out loud, but you assume it is obvious, and even she knows that. Right? Yeah, can't read your mind. Also, but you have to consider that she isn't used to living in the house yet. It is true that in the forest and on the streets she could just leave stuff anywhere and not care. She simply needs some time to adjust. And unfortunately, you also have to consider another possibility. She's making a mess on purpose. You have so many theories as to why she intends to anger you, but the definite reason is still unclear. Genius. This is where the wolf prefers to sleep. You are confident that it is soft and warm enough, but not too hot or too soft. I love that little, Goldilocks reference. You offered the wolf to stay in your study or to move basically anywhere she could find suitable, but she refused. You would hope she was being nice and didn't want to impose, but unfortunately it is very doubtful. And the bench is just the perfect spot for her. It is easy to see and access the entrance and the staircase, and it's just the right distance from the fireplace. Well, you initially moved the bench here in the spot you predicted to be perfect for the wolf, before you invited her in. So, yeah. Genius. This is the wolf. She's staring very intensely at you. Does she need something? You usually try not to bother her, but she seems like she wants to say something, you suppose. It's really hard to tell. You can't tell whether she wants to be left alone or is meaning to ask something. Should you start a conversation? Why does she keep staring at you? Doesn't she feel awkward? Is there something on your face, perhaps? You can't take it anymore. You'll say something harmless enough. Good morning, wolf. What the heck? Is it hard to say good morning or simply morning back? What, is common courtesy too bothersome for the big bad wolf? Listen to what you've just said, little lamb, and think about it. She must be trying to annoy you deliberately, right? Should you ask? Is there anything I can help you with? Holy I don't like this dress. Oh. Ooh, that's a relief. She had something meaningful to say. But wait, what? That's not a good thing. And how could she not like that dress? It's so adorable and she looks better wearing it, better than before. You put in a lot of effort choosing that outfit, and you believe that your taste is quite sophisticated. What a pity. It suits you very well. It's cute, isn't it? I don't do cute. Even so, it's better than her previous attire. It was basically just a pile of patched and moldy rags that seemed like they'd never been washed before. They were gross to touch, and it's hard to imagine anyone even wearing them. It's getting hard to keep calm. Ah, I see. Well, I patched up your old clothes, but they're currently in the laundry. Perhaps you would like to wash them yourself. Ha, what will you say to that? No. Surprisingly, she isn't annoyed? Did she not get the passive-aggressive message? Anyway, in that case, I'm sorry to inform you that you'll have to wait. And unfortunately, I don't think I can lend you any other dresses. Mine are way too long for you. Because once again, of my international supermodel legs. That's true, you wish you could wear the same cutesy dresses, but they look awkward on you because you are way too tall. And you don't even feel comfortable wearing medium-length skirts because they seem too short due to your height. Okay. You suppose that even though the wolf came to complain about her dress, she wouldn't understand your delicate and fragile fashionista heart. She keeps staring silently again. Is there anything else? At this point, you assume that this is now the leave me alone type of silence. Have a nice day. Wolf keeps hanging around, not saying anything for some time, and then she leaves. What is she even doing the entire day? Okay, if we go outside and the carrots are et, then I know this game is like already magical, that it's going to go up in my magical little booklet. Go to work. Oh, wow. You arrive at your job. Your route to town lies somewhere through the forest, so it's somewhat exhausting in itself. You are a notary. I'm not quite sure what that is either. You sign, you officially sign documents for people? And you're pretty confident that the wolf has no idea what you do. Your job today was as usual. It was just the right balance of interesting and stressful situations. You were quite tired afterwards. You clearly remember having already replenished all the food and other essential supplies at home, so you don't need to make any stops on your way back. However, perhaps you should give the wolf a present and hope that she will finally get the hint to return the kindness she has received. On the other hand, you shouldn't spoil her. And you were quite confident that she'd be creeped out by that being kind and wishing for nothing in return type of attitude. This is understandable. You would also find it quite intimidating, were you in her shoes. She had also been ungrateful so far. Maybe you need to play by her rules. You need to show her that just because you were being kind doesn't mean you were stupid. Good advice. You aren't feeding her for free, you're providing her with stability, you're making an investment. She has to understand her current situation. Oh, buy some nice meat as a present. You're just so used to being nice and kind for no real reason. It's kind of addicting and almost became a habit at this point. But, after struggling for a long time, you eventually managed to stop yourself from buying it. Reasonably speaking, you still have some meat in the pantry, even if it isn't fresh. You will still cook her something nice for supper. You return home. The wolf brought even more dirt into the house. You're quite sure that it's also messier in general, but you can't really tell for certain. That surprises you. You used to have an extraordinarily good memory. You suppose that even you get tired at some point. You feel so drained. But it's alright. You can handle this. You have to be patient. It will be worth it in the end, right? March the 8th. Oh, day 2. Or like sometime later. Oh, interesting. So you pick a character to play, you make some choices with them, then you play the other character, and the choices you had made affect that storyline. And then we come back, maybe we come back for another day, and it might repeat, where we get to pick the characters again. That is narratively really interesting structure. One afternoon, the grey wolf noticed something unusual upon waking up and leaving the house. The little lamb has neither left for work nor spent her time with chores and studies. She was having a tea party, an outdoor meal, a picnic. Oh, I love picnics. Oh. I would schedule in a picnic, but it's like 7 degrees and raining. She was having, it looks so good. She's got the little honey going, and the jams, and the frosted cakes, and the raspberry pie, the fresh bread, and the muffins, and a good book. It was in the comfort of the shade under a tree, but still in the clear line of sight if one was to leave the house. It was overabundant with dishes, not of all were which to lamb's taste. The intent was clear. You can't even call this a bait or a trap, since the lamb didn't pretend it to be anything it wasn't. It was an invitation. Sure, you can join or you can pass by. See if I care, it's fine either way. The lamb knows that she'll enjoy herself or temporarily sabotage the wolf's misery, doing which she also enjoys. I'm sure I can ruin this, was confident the wolf. I don't care if she's ruined this. I don't care if she ruins this. This is just the first step in making her feel guilty about doing so, was confident the lamb. Holy moly! The emotional maturity of this game is actually, I don't think I've seen in a game before. I mean, like, you've probably played 100 games like it, I don't know. You're probably like, Luke, I think you'll find Overwatch 2 is person is clearly just ripped off Overwatch 2 or something. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. But for me, this is just, there's so much sort of, like, nuance here. Oh, we'll keep going, but I do want to talk about it a bit more. And without further ado, the wolf joined the picnic. Oh, I thought we had the option to join or not join. Oh, they're so cute together. Look at the little wolf prints on the shoes. Oh, I want to be there. I want to be at that picnic. Once she gulped down everything edible around her, she had to put her original plan on hold. After eating, she was usually lazy and didn't feel like walking anywhere. The lamb was victorious once again. Oh. The wolf was bored and didn't like the silence and the lamb's company. It felt pressuring. Silence is often really hard. Like, I don't know about you, but I was never trained to just let silence sit. Maybe this is why I'm able to talk for like an hour on stream without a break. But yeah, really want to practice comfortable silences with people. It was as if the lamb was pretending to be busy, when in reality she was constantly judging the wolf the entire time. Not that the wolf cared, but what right did the lamb have to judge her? What are you reading? The wolf asked, clearly knowing that this was an annoying question. It's not annoying. A book, the lamb replied, clearly knowing that this was a bad answer, but this was a bad answer to a bad question. What book? If I told you the title, what difference would it make? It's not like you have ever read it. Oh. And that was the reason why the very first question above was a bad one. Like, what is it about? It's fiction, about traveling and adventures. I think you might enjoy it. Oh. For a while, the wolf pretended to lose interest, but she eventually sat up to read it. The lamb waited for some time before turning the page. I haven't finished yet. I started after you did. Alright, tell me when you're done. Turn it now. Once again, the lamb waited for some time after she had finished reading. She intended to turn the page once again. Already? You read too fast. I don't get what was going on starting from the middle. It's dull. Perhaps you would like to start from the beginning? And the lamb passed the book. But you've already read the beginning. Not like the wolf cared about how much the lamb chose to reread her books, but it feels pathetic to pressure her to restart. It doesn't even feel like the proper bullying, as you have nothing to gain from it. It's just time wasting. This is perfectly fine. And the lamb pulled out another book. Yeah, I knew that was coming. I have something else to occupy myself with. You can call me once you've reached the page we stopped at, if you want to. This is actually somewhat disturbing, the wolf thought. She wasn't planning to manipulate the wolf into reading from the very start, was she? Maybe she just prepared several books to read in advance. Maybe she reads this fast. Besides, the wolf was already sort of invested, and still didn't feel like leaving, so they spent their noon reading outdoors. The wolf told the lamb once she reached the page they'd stopped at previously, and they continued reading together. The wolf was in charge of turning the pages this time, and the lamb spent her spare time reading 2 books at once. It was unusual and a little bit annoying, but interesting in its own way. She doubted she would like to repeat the experience. This is a massive breakthrough for what the lamb is trying to achieve in her personal, weird mission. Once they finished, the lamb initiated conversation. So, did you like it? It was fine, I guess, some parts. The tailor in red is cool, fierce, decisive. Is that so? Isn't the lady in white more fierce? Is it a bit Alice in Wonderland, I guess, is kind of what they could be reading? No, she's weird. I don't get her. She feels out of place. I see. What about you? Is the lady in white your favourite? No, I wouldn't say so. I don't really have favourites, but if I really had to choose, I would say I find the puppy companion the most reasonable. But he also hangs out with the main character, and she is annoying. The little lamb packed the dinnerware and tablecloth away while they discussed the rest of the plot and the characters. The grey wolf never left for a walk that day. May the 4th. Oh, this is like several months later. Oh, alright. We just want to see the situation. Oh, oh. Oh, we've got to pick a character. Okay, let's save it there. Oh. Well, what can I say about that? I really enjoyed that. I read a lot into it. To me, I kind of, I guess, extrapolated a bit more into just kind of like problem personalities and like the people who deal with that or manage that, who themselves maybe problem personalities too. I don't quite know why I went straight for like you could have just read it as just sort of regular, like a regular relationship between two people who were coming from a distance apart, but I did feel something was pulling me towards that it was talking a bit more broadly about, you know, how society deals with people who feel like they don't who feel like they aren't part of it, you know, for whatever reasons, like they just have never been part of it, and so they don't know how, or maybe there's something in their just personality that makes them not want to be part of it. But as I said, maybe I read that into it. What I thought was really interesting about this game is that the characters were defined in reaction to the other characters. So, like, I've played a lot of games on Queer Games Heck Yeah, where the characters are all very similar. So, you know, the author, the developer has written like 5 characters, but they all have the developer's voice, and you can kind of hear it. And there's not really much to differentiate those 5 characters or whatever in the game. But then you play a game where the characters are really delineated very well. You know, often it's like, you know, you've got the bad boy, or you've got the villain, or you've got the like someone who's a bit cowardly, or you've got someone who's, you know, like an elderly and wise kind of thing. And they do bounce off each other, and that's interesting. But this game, I thought, was very, very interesting in that you had these two characters, but their thought processes depended on the actions of the others, so they were quite interweaved. And I think that was really well done. I actually think that was a notch up. So I hardly recommend this one. I don't normally, like, these aren't reviews, I guess, but this one I was like, get the bundle for this game, for sure. Alright, thank you very much for joining me here on Queer Games Heck Yeah. I hope you have the rest of your day is good. And I hope you have a good day. You know, ungarble that little sentence yourself. Other than that, I'll see you later. Bye.